Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, May 7th, the 28th day in the Omer. We have completed 4 weeks in the Omer. For those who are maybe going to go a little old school, keeping score, Bert Blyleven. It's hard to believe also that this is going to be the start of our ninth week, week 9 of our shul being closed. And let us hope that this will end soon enough. Hard to say when, and we hope that as the events unfold that we'll know more as we go along. Please continue to daven for Refuah Shalema, for Mordechai ben Elka, for Ivan Sobel, for Rafal Zev ben Rickel, and for Gittel Basara, and for all those who need a Refuah Shalema, healing of body, healing of spirit during these difficult times. We had a board meeting last night, and actually a wonderful thing came out of it. A suggestion from Josh Brickman, who was inspired by Wayne Zuckerman, that obviously discussing finances of the shul, and obviously we even though the shul is closed, we still need to keep the shul going. We have obligations, etc. And a small way in which we can help support our shul. Josh's idea, which was, I think, a fantastic idea, is for sponsorships, mini sponsorships for our daily video, which we've been putting out during this pandemic. So if you'd like to celebrate a happy occasion, commemorate a yahrzeit, or a birthday, or whatever it might be, please let me know, and we will note it accordingly. So we already have 3 lined up. And the first today, this is really, really exciting, is sponsored by Barbara and Andy Hutter. And what's the occasion, you ask? What could they be celebrating? Well, this is a very big milestone celebration. Look at this Shayna Punim. Look at that. You see? Oh, if you look closely, what do you see? There it is. There it is. Robert with no tooth. Robert losing his first tooth. Robert, of course, their oldest grandson. And I always, whenever I think of Robert, whenever I see Robert, hopefully he doesn't associate me only with his bris, because I was there at his bris, but that was in my rabbinic career, which is spanning well over 2 decades now. My rabbinic career, it's one of the highlights of my entire rabbinic career, was Robert's bris. Because if you remember, Andy had just unfortunately lost his father, and he had just finished Shloshim, and there we were on the bima on a Shabbos bris, where Andy's mother was holding the baby, who was being named for her husband that she just lost, Ruth, and it was such a beautiful moment, and also to be able to read the name. I've always said that my favorite ritual to perform is Kriyas Hashem, is giving the name for a baby girl or for a boy at a bris, because it shows the continuity of life. And now that we've seen Robert grow up, if you'd like, if you're friends with Jared and Lindsay, or more importantly, if you follow Lindsay on Instagram, Lindsay Hutter Style, you'll see a lot of these boys, and really it's quite entertaining. But Mazel Tov, Robert, and we can't wait to continue to watch you to grow up. May this be the first of many, and may your parents reward you in kind. And thank you to Andy and to Barbara and the entire family for this wonderful sponsorship. And this Devar Torah today is in your honor. So enjoy all the goodness, and we need as much goodness as we can in today's world. So today I'm going to study in the 3rd chapter of Perek Avos, Mishna 12, Mishna Yud Bet. Hu haya omer, kol shema'asav merubim mechachmaso. If his deeds outweigh his wisdom, chachmosim miskayemes. By the way, this is a continuation of the previous mission, which was from Rab Chanina ben Dosa. So if a person's deeds outweigh his wisdom will endure. V'kol shechachmosim merubim ma'asav, ein chachmosim miskayemes. But if his wisdom outweighs his deeds, his wisdom will not endure. Very unusual language here about wisdom and deeds, and ostensibly we're talking about Torah knowledge, about wisdom, about Torah knowledge and deeds, which are mitzvos. Because we know we have a commandment to study Torah. But why do we study Torah? So first of all, there's the notion of studying Torah because it's God's word. We call it Torah Lishma. But there's also a concept of lilmod amanas lasos, is that we study Torah so that we can behave accordingly. Not only to know what to do, so I know what bracha to make on an apple, so I know how to light the Hanukkah menorah, so I know how to keep Shabbos, but also that I know how to act as a moral human being, so that I know how to act as a compassionate human being, guided by the words of the Torah. So if we look at it from Torah study, that's one thing. But on the other hand, we might find that there's wisdom and then there's wisdom. And that Judaism, and we hope that Jewish people, we are people of action, and not just people of intellect. And that we will hopefully take whatever it is that we know and we'll put it into action. Because if we don't put it into action, then we find ourselves in trouble. I want to share with you the comments of Rabbi Lau as he quotes from the Ramban. In the celebrated letter to his son, the Ramban writes, "After you learn Torah, make it a point to put your learning into action." Similarly, David HaMelech states, King David, "I will speak of your laws and gaze at your ways," meaning that after King David studied God's laws, he would look to see how he could keep his ways. In this spirit, the Midrash Shmuel, another famous commentary on Perek Avos, he translates our Mishna as follows: "If a person's deeds are greater, that is due to his wisdom, and the wisdom of such a person will endure." In other words, when we put our wisdom to use, when we show that our wisdom has a constructive purpose, and not, as I mentioned a couple of lectures ago, that some people put their wisdom just for the favorite Jewish pastime of telling other Jews what they're doing wrong. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about putting it to good constructive use. Then your wisdom will endure, your wisdom will grow. If, however, your wisdom is just for the sake of wisdom and you don't put it to good use, so to say, then your wisdom will not endure. We'll say, oh, look what happens to your wisdom. During this period, I think the greatest implementation of our wisdom is actually inaction. I know that sounds odd, but we know that the greatest mitzvah that we can do, so to say, is to not do what our inclination is. So as difficult as it is to not go to shul, to not be together, to not have gatherings, even if we think that we're following the rules, but to follow what we're supposed to do, that's using wisdom, and that's putting it into action, even though the action now is inaction, is a lack of activity. And again, it's counterintuitive. It's against what we're used to. We're very social beings. Judaism by nature is something that requires us to be together. And now Judaism requires us to be apart, as challenging as that is. And I know we have video and we have Zoom and we have all these things, and it's just not the same. It's not the same. But it's what we have right now. And it's killing me. It's awful. It's absolutely horrible. But this is what the Torah requires of us, because we have to follow the mandate of the place where we live. And right now, where we live dictates that we have to be separate. We have to be alone. We have to be inactive in that sense. So let us continue to follow. I know it's getting frustrating. We might be at our wit's end, or we might have passed that 3 weeks ago. I don't know. But let's make sure that we have our wisdom endure. Why? Because it is led by action. Again, I hope that everybody has a wonderful day. And again, Mazel Tov to Robert, Toothless Robert. I hope you really, really enjoy this time. It's a special time. It's a special memory. And I hope grandparents enjoy every single moment. Great-grandmother as well. And we look forward to sharing very, very good news, continued so very soon. Have a wonderful day.